Hello! In this video, Eleonora and I played the Sonata number 1 from Georg Philipp Telemann's 6 canonical sonatas, also known as the 18 canons mélodieux, in French, 18 melodical canons. So, I think it is a good occasion to talk about the canon as a musical form. Now, for 2 or more people meeting each other in order to make music, probably the easiest thing to do would be to just sing or play the same melody together at the same time. However, it would also be quite a bit of a waste. You have 2 separate voices, but you force them to behave as one. There are many ways to differentiate the parts between 2 or more musicians. In theory, one of the easiest would be to have still just one melody, but have everybody play it at a different moment. You can think of Are you sleeping, brother John? Where each time the first voice changes verse, the next voice comes in singing from the top. Like I said, however, a canon is only easy in theory. Western music has developed quite a strict set of rules over time concerning the way a set of voices should behave in relationship to each other. The term used to describe a plurality of voices acting at the same time is counterpoint, from the Latin punctum contra punctum, meaning note against another note. The composer wanting to write a canon faces then a challenge. They have to write just one melody, but in such a way that if someone else were to begin playing it after the first player has reached a certain point, the result does not break the rules of counterpoint. With more voices coming in at different times, the challenge becomes even greater because the melody has to fit with itself at an increasing number of points in time. Luckily, two things come to our help. First of all, the composer can and actually has to decide the point at which the next voices should come in. And second, well, the rules of counterpoint tend to become slightly looser with a bigger number of voices. Telemann's 18 Canons is a collection published in Paris in the year 1734. Not much is known about the history of these pieces, but they are characteristic in that they offer quite a virtuosic collection of canons. I say virtuosic not only because of the technical skills required from the musicians, but also because each canon is relatively long and for two voices only, which means that Telemann had to respect quite strict rules over quite a long time. Well, Telemann does take his little share of liberties with those rules, but the result is nevertheless astonishing. Telemann's love for clear and gallant melodic lines really gets a chance to shine. However, the 18 canons are only a very refined example of the simplest way to form a canon, which is that in which the bass melody is repeated in the second voice completely unaltered. Other possibilities include repeating the melody but starting on a different pitch, repeating it backwards, or flipping down the direction, we call that an inversion, so that when the subject goes up, the answer in the next voice goes down, or even repeating it at a faster or slower pace, or any combination of these actually. An interesting practice during Baroque times was that of puzzle canons or enigmatic canons. In the 18th century, periodicals had just started to become popular, so composers used to publish one or two small lines of music in them, together with an inscription, with a sort of riddle. It functioned almost like a Sudoku does nowadays. The reader would decipher the inscription and try to find the one point in the melody which allowed it to be played as a canon. Sometimes the answers weren't even particularly beautiful to listen to. Just the challenge of solving the enigma was enough to keep the reader interested. Telemann himself practiced enigmatic canons in his periodical publications, for example in his Der getreue Musikmeister, and perhaps the most famous example of this practice is Bach's musical offering. But I will talk more about the musical offering in the next video. Thank you very much, and see you soon.